Hi everybody, I'm back to go over another hand from the Soloway knockout. This one's from the round of 16. We were playing a tough young team, and at this table, we were playing against Radu Nistor and Asaf Yakutili. Sorry if I got that wrong. I didn't know Asaf before this match, but he played very, very well in this match. This was a really tough grind. This was maybe our closest and toughest match of toughest is a tough word, but this was the match we were the closest to losing over the course of the week. And this is a really interesting hand. So this hand, I started as the dealer, and I opened a heart. It was from, I believe it was from the first quarter. I opened a heart. It was actually one of the very first few hands of the day. The board number 11 up there is not correct. So I opened a heart, and it went one spade overcall, and my partner made a cubid raise of two spades. So that's just a normal cubid raise. It warrants showing me at least 3 card heart support and at least an invitation to game, so 10 or more dummy points, 11 or more dummy points, something like that. So I have a really good hand here, and interesting development. My right hand opponent raises to 3 spades, which actually makes my hand even better. So when I start counting my losers, now that I know my opponents have at least 8 spades, I know that my partner's got a singleton or doubleton or maybe even no spades over there. So I know my 8 of spades is not a loser. I'm going to be able to trump it over there. Plus, I know I have a 10 card heart fit. So even if my partner's got 3 little hearts, I probably am only going to lose 1 heart trick. And if my partner has the king of hearts, king third of hearts, that's a 10 card fit. That's all I need. I'll be able to use the ace king to draw the queen. The queen will fall because we're only missing 3 of them. So I really, in order to make 6, I just need like the king of clubs or the king of hearts. And in order to make 7, I just need those 2 cards basically, king of hearts, king of clubs. Now, unfortunately, I can't just bid key card because if my partner tells me that they have 1, I'm not going to know if that 1 is the ace of diamonds or if it's the king of hearts. It's a common flaw. You can't use Blackwood with a void because of that problem. So I can, if I bid 4 no, let's say he shows me 1, I'm going to say, oh great, 1, but it won't help me because I don't know which one it is. But experts kind of universally play this tool, special convention called Exclusion Blackwood. It's a little bit too much for my intermediate players, but honestly, it's not that complicated of a convention. It's just that when you make an unusual jump to the 5 level, sometimes it's the 4 level, but usually it's the 5 level, that actually says, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to bid 5 diamonds on this hand. It actually says, I want to know how many key cards you have in your hand, but I don't want you to tell me about the ace of diamonds. Don't exclude the ace of diamonds. It's called Exclusion Blackwood. Basically, you only use it when you have a void. So my 5 diamonds is gonna. We play 0-3-1-4. My partner is gonna respond. They're gonna look at their hand. They're gonna, even if they have the ace of diamonds, they're not gonna count it, and they're gonna show me how many key cards they have. So what I'm hoping is gonna happen is that my partner is gonna show me 1. And that's exactly what happens. We play 0-3-1-4. Even if you play 14-30 for regular Blackwood, if you do decide to play Exclusion Blackwood, you really should play that it's 0-3-1-4. Just to make a long story short, the person who's bidding exclusion usually has such a good hand that their partner only needs to have 1 for it to be enough. So you don't have a lot of room. So you want to keep 0 as that first step, and then 1 as the second step, basically. So yeah. So now my partner's bid 5 spades, and so now I know that Warren has the king of hearts. That's great. And by the way, there was no risk of this being misunderstood. 5 diamonds. We've got an established heart fit. I'm jumping to 5 diamonds. There's no question in my mind that Warren would know exactly what 5 diamonds was. There's no ambiguity here as to what 5 diamonds could mean otherwise. So over 5 spades. Now the way I can bid, it's just like regular Blackwood. Because he showed me 1, I could bid 5 no trump. That would ask him for the queen of trumps. But because I have 10 of them, I have 7 and my partner has at least 3. They might even have 4. I don't need to worry about the queen of hearts. The queen of hearts is likely to fall because we have 10. They're going to break 2-1, or maybe they're going to have 3 of them and I'll be able to finesse them. So I don't want to ask for the queen of trumps. All I really want to know is that if partner has the king of clubs, honestly, there's a little worry that he might have like ace king of diamonds and the king of hearts. So I did think for a little bit about maybe just guessing to bid 7, but I figured I have this bid where I can bid 6 clubs. That's the first step. That's not the queen ass. So I went past the queen ass and I bid 6 clubs. That says to you, we have all the key cards and the queen of trumps. Where do you have any kings? But he already knows the king of diamonds is not really useful to me. So if he has the king of clubs, I expected him to at least bid 6 diamonds to tell me he's got something. If he goes back to 6 hearts, I would feel like he's got kind of like a random array of like the king queen of hearts and the ace of diamonds. That would be the worst case hand for me, like ace queen of diamonds, king queen of hearts. Then I'm going to be on a finesse for 7, and I really don't want to be in a grand slam on a finesse. If he bid 6 diamonds, I was going to take that for like I have something. I'm not sure if that something is what you need, but luckily Warren actually just jumped straight to 7 hearts, so I was pretty happy about that, because if he bid 6 diamonds, I was going to bid 7 hearts anyway, but I'm much happier hearing him jump because it feels like we're just going to be cold. So they led the jack of diamonds, and dummy came down, and kind of just what I'd hope. Warren looked at his hand. He knew that the king of clubs was what I needed, and the ace of diamonds couldn't be a bad thing. But he knew that wasn't. I didn't want to know about the ace of diamonds, but he had a pretty good hand here. So he had a pretty. I couldn't want anything besides that king of clubs really. So he just jumped to 7. So now when dummy came down, I started thinking for a really long time, and Warren was hoping at this stage that usually when you bid 7 you just claim and then it's over. But so I said something to my screen mate because I could see right away that there's really nothing to this hand. I have 10 hearts, and so as long as the hearts are breaking, I'm gonna make this hand. But I before I went into the if the hearts are 3-0. I have to choose who is going to have the queen of hearts. So if West has 3 hearts to the queen, I would need to lead the ace of hearts from my hand. But if East has 3 hearts to the queen, I need to start by leading the king of hearts from dummy. But I didn't really want to waste all that time thinking about who has queen third, only to find out that they were 2-1. So I pulled down the screen. I said to my opponent, I'm going to cash one of the honors. I just need to guess who's going to have queen third. And he told me you have to play it out, which means I had to think about it. So now I went into the tank for a really long time about this. There's actually a funny story where in some book where somebody asked that question, but it was just in like a Roofle Rabbit book, I think, where they asked, maybe it was in real life, but it was just a story where somebody did this. They said, hey, if the trumps aren't 3-0, then I'm going to claim. And then they said, well, you can't claim. And then what they did was they just led the 2 hearts into the 10, because as soon as West followed suit, they played the 10, and knowing they were 3-0. But I think that was just a funny story or whatever. Anyway, my opponent knew I wasn't going to do that. I was going to cash 1 honor, so I was just trying to save time. We're about to grind out these 30 hands, and we're playing pretty slow. We're pretty slow players at our table. Our opponents are pretty slow players, so it's important not to waste time. So I did that, and now I had to think about it. I know that one of them has queen third hearts, and I have to figure out who has that queen third of hearts. So all I have to go on is the bidding, right? And so what I see here is that West overcalled 1 spade and East only bid 3 spades. So my thought here is I know that spades are probably 5-5, although they could be 6-4, 6 on my left and 4 on my right. But if East has a heart void, I thought there was enough of a chance that they would eventually jump they would have just jumped to 4 spades over 2 spades instead of bidding 3 spades. So I decided, after thinking about it for a really long time, I roughed this diamond in my hand, and I played a small heart, and they showed out, and so that was it, and I could win the king and claim. I just play a heart back and finesse the queen third. Now, what's amazing about this hand is that at the other table, it was very, very similar in that my hand opened a heart, and it went a spade overcall, and my partner bid 2 spades. But at the other table, my teammate, and by the way, look at that aggressive 1 spade overcall. It was made in both chairs in the room. So for my intermediate students who are thinking about overcalls, look at West, and look, this was both players in both rooms overcalled 1 spade. It's not really enough at vol against not to use Michaels, but it was definitely enough. Not definitely enough, but it was aggressive. Modern aggressive bridge is to overcall 1 spade with that hand. Now, my teammate at the other table over here was Vincent Demoy. He looked at this East hand, and he did jump straight to 4 spades. He just decided, all right, I'm going to get right in their face and jump to 4 spades. And now North-South also reached the Grand Slam, but now when they were deciding which way to finesse the heart, they thought to themselves, well, they bid a vol against not 4 spades. That hand is the one that's more likely to have the void in hearts. So they started the hearts by cashing the ace in their hand, and we actually won 17 imps on this hand, because at their table, 7 hearts went went down one, and at our table, 7 hearts made. It's amazing how that decision by East, it was pretty aggressive by my teammate over there. He had a balanced hand with 8 points. At that vulnerability, he was taking his life in his hands by jumping to 4 spades there. I guess he just hoped that they would compete, and that would be that. It worked unbelievably well, and we won this match by a smaller margin than 17. I think we won by single digits, or maybe 10 or 11. I can't really remember, but pretty interesting hand. A nice expert tool for you to see in action. That crazy overcall you can see that was pushed in both rooms, and then the difference was guessing that 10 card fit. But I hope you enjoyed the hand, and I will speak to you guys soon.